It's the early hours of December 10th, 1941. A pale light stretches across the South China Sea as Task Force Z moves steadily along the coast of Malaya. The mission? To intercept and destroy Japanese forces believed to be landing near Kuantan. Leading the small British task force is the mighty HMS Prince of Wales, commanded by Captain John Jack Leach alongside her sister ship, the veteran battlecruiser HMS Repulse, under Captain William Tennant. Above them, the sky is quiet. The ocean glimmers peacefully. None aboard realize that within hours both ships will lie beneath these same waters. Suddenly, a message breaks the radio silence. The destroyer HMS Tenedos is signaling distress. "Sir, Tenedos reports they're under air attack," an officer announces. Captain Leach exchanges a grim look with Admiral Sir Tom Phillips, commander of the force. The radio silence is broken. The Japanese have found them. Phillips gives the order. All hands to action stations. The calm sea is about to become a battlefield. In the distance, the hum of engines grows. Japanese reconnaissance planes have already marked their position, and now a formation of Mitsubishi G3M Nell bombers descends through the clouds. Their first target is the Repulse. As the aircraft dive, black bombs fall from their bellies, slicing through the morning sky. Seconds later, geysers of seawater erupt alongside the ship. Captain Tennant shouts, "All hands to action stations." One bomb finds its mark, punching through the ship's seaplane hangar before detonating below deck. The blast hurls men across the floor and tears through the interior compartments. Despite the damage, Repulse keeps moving. Her engines hold steady, her speed untouched. Smoke curls faintly from her deck, but her spirit remains unbroken. "Damage report?" Tennant demands. "No critical damage, sir," comes the reply. The veteran warship presses on, defiant. On board the Prince of Wales, Captain Leach and Admiral Phillips prepare for the next assault. Radar contacts appear across the horizon, dozens of them. 67 Japanese bombers are inbound, approaching in a wide pincer formation to overwhelm British defenses. All ships, increase speed to 25 knots, Admiral Phillips orders. Captains are free to maneuver. The enemy comes in low, splitting into two squadrons, one from the port side, one from starboard. Then, through the haze, 9 bombers emerge, glinting in the sun. They are G4M Betty bombers, each carrying deadly torpedoes. Anti-aircraft guns thunder. Shells burst across the sky in a desperate curtain of flak. The British gunners pour everything they have into the air, but the Japanese planes are too fast, too well coordinated. Machine gun fire rakes the decks. A bomber takes a direct hit and plunges into the sea, but more follow behind. Leach gives the order, "Hard a port." The Prince of Wales swings sharply, trying to avoid the torpedoes now streaking through the water, but it's too late. The first torpedo slams into the port side with a deafening explosion, blasting a column of seawater high into the air. The second strikes under the stern, a devastating hit that tears open a massive hole near the engine rooms. Inside, sailors are thrown off their feet. Water rushes in uncontrollably, flooding compartments within minutes. The ship begins to list to port. Engineers struggle waist-deep in cold seawater, trying desperately to contain the flooding. Pumps can't keep up. Power flickers and dies across parts of the ship. Yet above deck, the anti-aircraft gunners keep firing, determined to protect their comrades. Each burst of flak lights the smoky sky, but the Japanese bombers keep coming. Then another torpedo strikes near the stern, killing the ship's steering. The Prince of Wales can no longer maneuver. She's now a stationary target. Captain Leach knows his ship is in grave danger. He orders the starboard void spaces flooded, a desperate measure to balance the ship so the gunners can still fire level. The men keep loading shells, their hands trembling with exhaustion and fear. Their barrels glow red-hot. Steam hisses as water is poured over the guns to cool them. Then a lookout yells, "Contact due east." Another formation of enemy aircraft approaches, diving low. 6 Betty bombers sweep toward the crippled battleship. They release their torpedoes. 3 torpedoes find their mark. The blasts rip open new holes along the hull. Men are thrown overboard as seawater floods in, carrying oil and debris through the corridors. The ship groans, metal twisting under the strain. Despite the chaos, the gunners refuse to stop firing, but the Prince of Wales is dying. A few miles away, the Repulse is still in the fight. Captain Tennant maneuvers his ship with astonishing skill, dodging one torpedo spread after another. 19 torpedoes are fired at her, and all miss. His men cheer as they watch each white trail slide harmlessly past the hull. One officer later recalls, "It was as if the old girl danced through the sea. But the luck of the Repulse is about to run out." Scene 7. The second attack on Repulse. By 12:23 p.m., 20 more Japanese torpedo bombers dive on the Repulse from all sides. Her gunners fire wildly. Even the massive 15-inch main guns are turned toward the attackers, firing into the water to create huge splashes in hopes of knocking planes off course. It's no use. The first torpedo slams into her port side amidships. Another follows, then another. The Repulse shudders violently but keeps moving. Captain Tennant shouts, "Keep her going!" But as the next wave arrives, she's struck again. Explosions rip through her lower decks, flooding the engine rooms and destroying vital systems. Repulse begins to slow. Still, her gunners manage one final act of defiance, hitting a Betty bomber square in the cockpit, blowing it apart in midair. Moments later, a series of new hits tears through the hull. The Repulse starts listing sharply to port. Within minutes, the great battlecruiser is mortally wounded. "Abandon ship," Tennant finally orders. His men respond instantly, cutting loose rafts and throwing life jackets to the sea. Many jump into the water, surrounded by oil and debris. Those below deck can't hear the order. The loudspeakers have failed. They're trapped inside as the ship continues to roll. The Repulse tips further, her massive propellers rising above the surface before the entire ship slips beneath the waves. It takes just 11 minutes. Captain Tennant surfaces near a life raft, coughing seawater but alive. Around him, hundreds of survivors cling to floating wreckage. Even as the Repulse disappears, the Prince of Wales remains under attack. High-level bombers swoop in again, releasing massive 500-kilogram bombs. At 12:50 p.m., one bomb smashes through her deck, sealing her fate. The ship has taken on nearly 18,000 tons of water. Power is gone, steering is gone, Warrior and the hull is breaking apart. Captain Leach gathers his men. "This is the end," someone says quietly. Leach shakes his head. "Not yet," he addresses the exhausted sailors. "Gentlemen, she's done for. Those who can get to the Destroyer Express. But for those who stay, let's help our old girl one last time." Some men salute and step forward to stay. Others move to the lines rigged across to HMS Express, which has bravely pulled alongside to rescue survivors. As the Prince of Wales rolls further to port, the gap widens. Ropes snap and gangplanks fall into the sea. Leach realizes it's over. He gives his final command, "Abandon ship." Moments later, the Destroyer Express pulls clear just in time, scraping against the Prince of Wales's upturned hull. At 1:24 p.m., witnesses see Captain Leach and Admiral Phillips still on deck, standing together as the ship rolls onto her side. Then she capsizes and disappears beneath the sea. News of the disaster shocks the British Empire. In Singapore, the destroyer HMS Electra sends a short, devastating message. HMS Prince of Wales sunk. In just over an hour, 2 of Britain's most powerful warships have been destroyed, not by enemy ships, but entirely by air power. It's the first time in history that capital ships at sea have been sunk solely by aircraft. The event marks the end of Britain's naval supremacy in the Far East, and the dawn of a new era in warfare. The loss of the Prince of Wales and the Repulse was more than a military defeat. It was a turning point. It demonstrated that the age of the battleship was over, and the reign of air power had begun. Over 800 British sailors lost their lives that day. The survivors were rescued by nearby destroyers and returned to Singapore, their faces reflecting disbelief and sorrow. More than 80 years later, the wrecks of the 2 ships still rest beneath the South China Sea, silent memorials to courage and sacrifice. But even in recent years, those sacred sites have not been left in peace. In 2023, Malaysian authorities seized a Chinese dredging vessel, suspected of illegally scavenging from the wrecks. Among the recovered artifacts were shells believed to have come from the Prince of Wales and the Repulse, grim reminders of a battle long past. Today, historians remember Task Force Z not only for its tragic loss but for the bravery of the men who fought against impossible odds. When 85 Japanese planes descended upon 2 British warships that December morning. The world witnessed the brutal shift in naval warfare and the end of an era. This was the story of Task Force Z, the day air power sank the pride of the British fleet.